I'll start my session today from a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, verse number 47. It has become a pivotal bedrock of Karma Yoga, and it goes like, Karmanne vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Meaning, you have the right to perform your duty, but not at the fruits of your action. And this has been guiding philosophy of lot of sages from time immemorial, thousands of years, for thousands of years. Sages, philosophers, scientists, soldiers, a lot of it I have imbibed in my life as well. I'm not talking about my life today, but just a bit. But ironically, in today's digital world, even karma needs cloud connectivity. And I'll explain you how. Imagine you're a student in distant heartland of Assam trying to submit your test papers or exam papers. Or you're an entrepreneur sitting out in Bhilai trying to upload a product video. What if you submit click and your karma does not connect to the cloud? For a very long time, more than a decade, we've been trying to solve a problem of slow internet. So if you say internet is faster, your transaction over the digital medium will be faster, right? So we had 2G, then 3G, then 4G, now 5G, 6G, 7G. Thank you, G. And what if I tell you that we've been trying to solve a wrong problem? The problem is not as much as fast or slow internet. The thing which India needs today is closer cloud. Cloud that is not central, but local. A cloud that not just responds, but respects every millisecond of ambition. Because in the digital world, distance is delay, and delay is denial. And we cannot deny this opportunity of digital inclusion to more than half of this country's population. We need to get the cloud closer to the user. Let me take you 25 years back. Internet had just started, it was in its infancy. It was slow, it was limited, it was very expensive. And then the cloud came after some time, after a few years. And there's been a revolution in every sphere of life. Commerce got transformed, healthcare got transformed, education got transformed, everything it touched got transformed, right? And it's also built huge hyperscalers, cloud companies, right? You know the names, I would not call them out here. And they've done a great job. But fortunately, unfortunately, it also created a digital divide, a digital inequality of digital haves and digital not as much as haves, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, this cloud, as we call, is located in some distant data center situated very, very far away from the user, from where the user is interacting on the digital ecosystem. And these data centers are situated and located in some pockets of major metros only. In fact, half of the data centers in this country are situated only in West. Why? Because the ecosystem started with corporate automation, right? B2B automation. And most of the corporate houses had headquarters in Mumbai and that area. But interestingly, if we give you one very simple data, Everybody today is a digital user, more or less whoever uses internet, right? Uttar Pradesh has 24 crore population, almost 70% of US population. But UP does not even have 5% of the data centers that India has. Less than that. I would not even name out. Maybe one or two hyperscalers have a leased data center in Noida and so on and so forth. But having said that, that has created this digital divide. And that should not be the case. The problem primarily is very interesting, This thing we call lag or latency, it creates that. Latency or lag is just a fancy term for distance, right? Imagine you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody in Jamshedpur, you're trying to click a video, and that video, the video is essentially data, right? Audio, visual data, streaming images, and audio is also data. Or you're transacting anything on the digital web. The request travels thousands of kilometers in some distant data centers. At a lot of times, it also goes beyond the country, beyond India's borders, right? It goes to Singapore, then goes to US, then Mumbai, then comes back. Ironical, but true. So if you have to give an envelope to a friend, to a neighbor, imagine this envelope goes to US, then goes to Singapore, then goes to Mumbai, then goes somewhere else, and then lands into the hands of your neighbor. That's the problem. And that's what happens today in this ecosystem. But the world is changing again. Welcome to the edge. This concept called edge computing topples the traditional cloud ecosystem on its head. It says, rather than processing this data in faraway data centers, you bring the cloud closer to the user where the user is transacting with that data, right? It makes the transaction safer, faster, risk-free, and way more scalable. Because today, why is this important? Why are we talking about it? Today, every user is not only an internet or data consumer, everybody is also a data creator, right? You create data. When you transact, when you do any payment transaction, you're sending something to the across the digital web, right? So you're creating your Facebook posts, you're creating your Instagram reels, you're creating data, right? And it is being created every nook and corner of this country. We are no longer just internet or data consumers. We are creators. It's a creator economy, right? And so the cloud needs to come closer. And we cannot deny this opportunity of creation and innovation to handfuls of users only. We have 850 million internet users. Most of the solutions are built for maybe top 80, 100 million users. That needs to change. I'll talk a little bit more about it later. So what's the problem? There are three problems, three things. One, cloud is central, as I said, right? 50% there, located in small pockets. It creates latency, so on and so forth. It should be decentralized. Second, in India, internet is booming. It has boomed. But the infrastructure beyond metros hasn't caught up. And third, the solutions that are built for the users, for you, are not built edge first. They are still built for 2007 cloud architecture. We are in 2025. That needs to change. And herein lies the opportunity. Imagine a network of these edge nodes, as we call it, meaning smaller data centers rather than huge data farms that exist. Smaller data centers, small edge nodes spread across the country, every nook and corner, every state, every district, every town in heartland. Imagine startups building solutions for 850 million internet users and counting, rather than the top 10, 15, 20 crores, 10, 100 million kind of users. We should remove this divide because, and it's very important and essential, we cannot have a foundational infrastructure such as digital to be built, and the solutions on this to be built with the premise that I will only sell it to those who have money to consume. Right? I don't know if you've seen some of these podcasts which are going around which say there is India 1, 10 crore people, 12 crore people, then there is India 2, then there is India 3. Right? Really strange and sad. The access to this foundational infrastructure should not be decided on who can pay. It should be, and the opportunity should be given to everyone who could use and access, so that we can unlock that revolution of creativity in this country. And you know, it's not that it's some science fiction. Technology exists. It's about intent. And it needs to have a collective intent from funding agencies, from VCs, from startups, from business owners, and government to make this change in the country. And I've seen this. You know, when latency decreases from 600 milliseconds to maybe 50, 60 milliseconds, magic happens. You stop buffering and you start belonging. And that belonging is not about faster streaming. It's about empowerment. It's about giving and providing an opportunity of having an AI-driven diagnostic healthcare to every nook and corner of this country. Every village. You will be very surprised sitting in this podium if I tell you India has one of the highest infant mortality rates in this world. Every minute that we spend here, one child less than 1 year old dies. And the rural versus urban divide is even bigger. In India, the infant mortality rates on an average is 25.6. 25.6 means 25.6 deaths between 0 to 1 years of age out of 100,000 live births. You know what's the number in the US? 5.6. We are more than 4 times worse. This needs to change.
Yes, sir.
World-class education on the tab, live, real time, needs to be there for every kid out there in the country. That's when we will unlock the real innovation. We are a young economy. We are a young demography, right? All of you sitting here. You know, farmers in our country need to have real-time access to crop intelligence, to weather intelligence, to expert advisory, to cost and pricing data. If I'm a farmer and my family's healthcare is being taken care of, my kids' education is being taken care of, and I know there's a future for them, I can live with dignity by making sure that I am realizing the fruits of my karma. To a certain extent, decided or dependent upon God, but I have more control today. Why will I commit suicide? Why? If I'm a small business owner, an entrepreneur, my success should not be decided on where I operate my business from. It should be equal. Everybody should be given equal opportunity. And it's a little sad situation, right? In a country of a population of 1.4 billion, there are only 100 unicorns. Only 100. We should have thousands of unicorns in this country. Thousands. And it's, I'm not talking of anything new. I mean, because we are in this, live in this generation. We feel that being world's third largest startup ecosystem is cool. Or being world's fifth largest economy is cool. Oh, we are growing very well. For thousands of years, we were number one. Why can't we there again? And these are foundational infrastructure initiatives that needs to be taken to arrive there. So I was talking of empowerment. It's about unlocking ambition of 1.4 billion Indians to create, to dream, to innovate at an equal level. But we cannot build $1 trillion digital economy on a 2007 cloud architecture. That needs to change. And the digital future of this country will not be created in Silicon Valley. It cannot be created in Silicon Valley. It will be created in Surat, in Silchar, in Sitamarhi, and in Siliguri. And that's a promise. You know, cloud is a promise. Edge computing is an opportunity. And the opportunity should not be far away. It should be right at your doorstep, very near to you. It's time we bring this promise home. It's time we bring the digital future of this country nearer to where the user is. It's time to bring the cloud to you. Thank you.